So my husband and I decided to open Jasmine's Grill and Cantina here in Gaston. We already have a business, it's Jasmine's Lopez Agency. So here Gaston was the best place to open a second business. Exchange Bank made this really, really easy. I thought it was gonna be a really hard process, but they were so nice, so sweet, and they explained everything by detail. And as you can see, they helped me make all this possible. It was really easy and they were always there. They were just a phone call away.
Hey folks, welcome to the Mayor Joe Taylor Show. I'm Jeff Underwood, J-Dub White. What's up, bud?
You know, I'm just sitting in the presence of greatness like I do twice a month here. This is the Mayor Joe Taylor Show.
That's right.
Welcome, Mr.
What's
Mayor.
up?
Well, you brought a very distinguished guest with you today. If you'll
Yes.
please introduce your guest.
Jennifer McGriff. She's with Etowah County Board of Education. She can explain her position, but she's here talking about neighborhood bridges, which is just a program that I've been able to be privileged to become involved in, and they're just doing really, really good work and helping kids and families. That's Jennifer.
That's it. That's Jennifer.
What about that?
Yeah, that's
Jennifer.
great.
She's
That was a great intro.
That's
That was a
awesome.
pretty good intro. I might get you
Like
to do
somebody
that
wrote
again,
it
like
for
a
Yeah.
little pre-recorded thing.
Well, welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
And we're sorry you're running with such low country company.
Well, you gotta hit slum every now and then.
That's right. So
Yeah,
tell us a
yeah.
little bit about neighborhood bridges. We know about Etowah County Board of Education, but just kind of explain, like you were telling us before the show. This is pretty awesome. Yeah.
It's been a great opportunity. So what I do with the school system is I serve families who may have extra challenges, just barriers to student success, to their own success. And so Dina Cook, our Director of Student Services, she grabbed Neighborhood Bridges back in 2019. And they started it in Rainbow City and in Southside just as a pilot. And then COVID hit. And so it's just kind of been trickling along since then. And then we wanted to sort of do a restart this school year. And it's been just an incredible success. We've been able to, since 2019, we've been able to meet over, I think it's around 140 needs, which impacted over 4,000 students in our system. So when I say that, I mean, so when I post a need, and I'll get to that in a minute, just how it all works, but when I post a need, we post, the title of the need, we post the need, and then below that, we have a line where we can put how many people are impacted by the need. So we have somebody that tracks all of that. And over half of those needs have been met during this school year. So that just speaks to how incredible the community response has been to this. And so I called Mayor Joe's office at the beginning of this school year and said, hey, can I get a meeting? I want to talk to you about something. And originally it was just to get exposure, because I feel like people in the community, they want to help. Oftentimes it's just they don't know how.
Sure.
But if they can click a button, meet a need, donate $20, drop a gift card, buy a school, something like that, I feel like, they're more inclined to help. And so the way Neighborhood Bridges works is it's neighborhoodbridges.org, Etowah County, if you guys want to look it up. And then, so what I do is when I get a need, I go in and I post that need. So every morning at 9 a.m., all of our subscribers are able to see those needs via email. So if you're not a subscriber, go on to Etowah County, Neighborhood Bridges Etowah County, and subscribe, and then you guys will be able to get those needs every morning. And then you can click on the need that you want to meet or contribute to. And once you fill out your information, I do want to say this because a lot of people, I get a lot of emails and they're like, what do I do? So when you initially go on and you subscribe, or you say that you're interested in helping with a need, you'll then get a subsequent email, which has your donation, secure donation link, and the way that you can donate. And so it's just, that's kind of how it works. And it's so easy. So our social workers a lot of times they're the ones that, hear of the needs that are in our schools, because we have 3 awesome social workers who they split all of our campuses up in thirds, and they serve those campuses. And so a lot of times, they'll be made aware of things, and then they give those needs to me. We have counselors who identify those needs on our campuses, and just lay people. I mean, anybody can say, hey, I have a student here who's, food insecure at home, or I have a student here who said, they've not had running water in, a couple of weeks. I mean, the needs are so vast and different. It's crazy. I mean, Mayor Joe mentioned earlier to you guys about our truancy stuff. So we do something called early warning, which is a time that we call families in and the students who are experiencing excessive absences or tardies.
Sure.
And so we bring them to the table and we ask them, what are the impediments? Like, what's keeping you from coming to school every day, or keeping you from getting your child to school every day? And often, not always, but oftentimes, we find that it's either my vehicle's broken down, I have no way to pay for the vehicle repairs, or we didn't have running water for a week, so or our power was shut off. Or one interesting thing that we did was we paid for lice treatment for an elementary student, because the elementary student was being raised by a great grandparent. Well, the great grandparent was doing everything that she could to get rid of it, but it just continued to be a problem. And so our social worker contacted me, and then we got a traveling lice removal service, and they actually went to the school. But it's just all the things that you don't think about, with student needs, and any, I think, non-cognitive barrier to student success. Neighborhood Bridges can meet those needs or address those needs.
It's a need. Jerry and I, when we grew up, he went to Etowah, I went to Litchfield, Coosa, by way of Litchfield. But what we saw was far different than the needs of the kids today. I mean, we saw some of our peers that were in poverty situations, but back then, I think when at least us 3 were back in school, parents saw that, and they kind of community parented these kids. And now it's such a fast-paced world. We're all living digitally, and people are not really vested in these children in the neighborhoods. And so you've got to have programs, to me, like this in schools that are watching for kids that are in need, or because my wife's in education, and the needs that she comes home in tears some days. And you would never believe, she'll never say the name, but you'll never believe the situation.
Of course.
And it breaks your heart. And thank God for, social workers, but thank God for administrators and teachers that pay attention to children, and they're not just a number or we're going to get our test scores where they need to be. They're really taking care of these kids. So this is incredible. We had no idea.
No clue. No clue. When you said she's coming on here, so I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think this is one of those times where we do on the show talk a good bit about giving and having a giving heart and serving, and I think this is that biblical principle of not letting the right hand know what the left hand's doing. So you're able to make a gift, and you don't get accolades, you don't get anything for it. You basically just kind of pour your heart into the gift, and then they manage that gift in a way so that nobody's embarrassed, nobody's treated any differently or as an underclassman or whatever, and it allows for you to make your gift and set that peace with the Lord. And that's what I love about it, is that I can pass my gift on, and I don't have to worry about whether the people have been vetted. I don't have to worry about giving to someone and that's going to be used for whatever, drugs or alcohol or whatever. It's going to the gift is being directed, and it's being managed by Neighborhood Bridges, and that's been the easy part of this. And I think it'll touch especially some corporate sponsors that at a distance you can't make that gift. You can't be charitable at times. All you're doing is sponsoring golf tournaments for goofballs like us to go and play golf and get a real bad swag bag, and that's about all we can get out of the deal.
That's fair.
But the truth is, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where these kids are really hurting.
Speaking of rubber meeting the road,
Oh,
lead
yeah.
me into my next story.
Good
I wanted to
segue.
share it. I know.
He's
that's
a
good.
professional. He's a professional.
It's almost like you knew what I was about to say.
Maybe I did.
I'm not kidding. So we had a family, and speaking to some of what you just said, every need we post is always anonymous
Yeah.
because we don't want it to be. We're very careful about that.
Sure.
We don't want it to be this, look what we did
Mhm.
and this poor family and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very quiet process, but we had brothers who live in the Sardis area. So the 15-year-old had never lived with parents. Parents were deceased, drugs, and his grandmother who raised him had passed away. Well, this happened a couple of years ago. Well, he had just been basically homeless, living from couch to couch and that sort of thing. Well, then he realized he had a half brother. So the half brother, who's 23, took his 15-year-old brother in to raise. So long story, very long story. I'm going to cinch it up a little bit. So the 15-year-old needed glasses. So the school had contacted me. So we got him connected with Dr. Mohan. Dr. Mohan did a free exam, provided his glasses for him. Well, then when we pulled the thread, we realized 23-year-old brother was walking to work every day. And that walk, some days he would have a ride, but most days he was walking, and that walk was probably about 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Back and forth, trying to get, trying to survive, trying to make a living. And so I thought, I'm just going to post this need on here and see what happens. So I got in touch with Mayor Joe and I said, hey, help me think about how could we get a car for this kid? And so over spring break, we were able to take a car so I called the owner of the business where he works, Pasquale's, the young man that got the car. He was like, I'm totally fine with you sharing this information. And so I called the owner that day and I said, hey, we're gonna be bringing a car up there. Can you help me coordinate this? So
That's awesome.
he went to the house, got the 15-year-old, brought the 15-year-old to Pasquale's. We all showed up, and I mean, he just cried like a baby.
It was great.
I mean, it was life-changing, really, for
Yeah.
them.
And I was able to go out and find a donor, and so, we just kind of put some resources together, and she was just incredible in the fact that when we got there, the one thing we had that had kind of all slipped our minds was insurance. And while we were sitting there, she's in the automotive industry, and she said, well, I can take care of this. And so she aligned and arranged for insurance while we were sitting at the table,
That's
giving this kid a car, and it was a great moment.
It really was. And just to think, I mean, that's on the large scale of, I think that's the biggest thing that we've done, but a few other things, providing wheelchair ramps. We've been able to build 2 wheelchair ramps for a Rainbow City family and then a Sardis family. Because, when we start, again, pull the thread, excuse me, these people are having a hard time getting in and out of their home. And so guess what's happening? The kids are having to help them get in and out of the home, which is why they're tardy, which is why they're missing school. So any non-cognitive barrier to student attendance success and, future community success really.
It's incredible. I feel ignorant. Well, most days I do. But, and
okay.
this one, because I had no idea this was, I never even would have thought that those were issues.
Yeah.
I guess most people probably think that. So it's incredible.
Well, it's amazing to be able to do what I do with Neighborhood Bridges.
Yeah.
We've had some very generous donations, so a lot of times, I'll just go ahead when we get a need, and I'll just go ahead and in faith meet that need, and every time, we always get what we need.
That's awesome. So I'm looking at the opportunities for kindness that you have up here now. So the Sardis High family that's in need of a wheelchair ramp, is that something that has been taken care of, or do you need the money to?
I did that in faith.
Mhm.
So thus far we've had, I think $150 donated towards that need.
And that's a $700 need, right?
It's
like one
yes,
piece of
close
wood,
to,
$100.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I went with, we have a group of retired guys in our area, and they build those ramps for free of course, not the cost of it.
Sure,
So-
sure.
So I met them at Lowe's last week, and we had a good time running through there and getting. It was kind of neat to watch them just calculate all just in their brains. They're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. So they were able to build that this past Friday.
Was that a shot at Joe?
It was. I felt it too.
Yeah, that was,
I mean,
Got to get it any way you can. Yeah.
I'm saying.
I was looking here. There's a recently homeless Glencoe middle school family in need of help with band instrument payments, and I think that is $252. That's something that can get paid today just by the folks watching this show. You can literally just go to neighborhoodbridges.org, click community, and then click Etowah County, and the needs pop up, and you just scroll. It's easy. I just did it. You go down to the bottom, it says I can help, and you just put your information and you're good to go. I mean, that is really, really awesome. Or you can call. You got your number there, and then you have Lottie Hawkins, I guess, that helps you.
yes, she's one of our social workers with the County Schools.
This is great. This is so good. If you're a kid, like I have 4 children. One
Very fertile. Very fertile bunch.
See what Mayor was talking about.
That's what he has.
Sorry.
But one of them
Peanut
is
gallery.
used to be. Will used to be very quiet when he was in elementary school. Now he doesn't shut up, right?
Yeah.
But when he was little, he was very shy, very reserved. If there's a kid like that in the school that is in need, and they really want to tell somebody, maybe one of their parents or grandparents is watching, or maybe we have kids go back and watch or whatever. Who do they tell? Like when they're at school, do they tell the teacher, or do they tell hey, can I go to the office? How does that work?
So I think we have so many campuses within Etowah County Schools, so I feel like it would be based on that particular school, but I feel like any teacher, would be someone that they would be able to share that with, or their counselor, their school counselor. I think that would probably be the best way to do that.
And if you're a parent watching, right, that'd be the very same thing. Just contact the school.
Yes,
And-
contact the school, or they can contact me.
Mhm.
My number is on all the needs. So they could contact me. But usually, I think contacting the school is the best path.
Well, I know who you don't contact. That's Alan Cosby, because he hadn't called me back in a month. So don't even bother calling.
And
Alan.
it's not even hunting season either, is it? Right?
It's not.
It's
Well, he asked me about calling you. I said, "Don't bother." I said,
Yeah, that's right. Because
Cheers.
it was good. Yeah.
So
That's
just
awesome.
back to that though, one thing that we have done with some of the larger donations that we've gotten is we've put student success centers on all of our campuses.
That's huge.
So we like to use that phrase, that wording, I guess, student success centers instead of hygiene, food pantries, just because those have such negative connotations, And so that was actually a Rick idea, the founder of Neighborhood Bridges, is to call them student success
Oh, I
centers.
get-
So that looks differently on each campus. So with some of the money that we received, the larger donations, I sent a check out a few months ago to all of our campuses, so they could then go and purchase the things that they most needed. Because an elementary school's needs
Sure.
are going to vary from a middle or a high school's needs, and then just depending on where you live, a West End pantry is going to look a lot differently than a Glencoe High School pantry. So, we started those. So my hope is my big dream and vision and hope is that we're able to provide $1,000 for each of our campuses to stock those at the beginning of every school year, because you're looking at hygiene items, which are not cheap, as the cost of everything has
Sure.
exponentially grown. So deodorants, toothpaste, toothbrushes, feminine products, food, non-perishable items, just it looks a lot of different ways on all the campuses. So that's my big dream and
Heck
goal.
yeah.
So if anybody's listening and you want to contribute,
I think that could happen pretty easily.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
People
that's,
like Joe.
$21,000.
I don't think that's.
that's
I
not.
think that's a stretch.
Yeah. I
And
don't
so
think
for that too, kindness, we have a thing called Kindness Council members, which Mayor Joe is a Kindness Council member.
Oh, look at you.
Very
And
kind.
so that means that you donate a minimum of $1,000 annually, and then your business logo or whatever marketing you want to be present on all of our subscriber emails as well as our website. So that's another way that that companies, individuals can get involved.
That's really
So,
good.
and speaking of that, too, I want to say one more thing about all of our Kindness Council members. So we have Mayor Joe Taylor, Camp Yancey, Danny Varnon, Matt Skelton, and
Brandon Smith.
GMC and Brandon Smith of Landcrafters.
Man,
So,
it's like halfway to a great softball team.
Yeah,
It really
right.
is.
I mean, he's the recruiter.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like it. I'm looking
There's
at
no
this now.
question.
They're all
Except
connected.
for Danny. I
You got
Danny.
Danny. Yeah.
Danny's mine.
Right.
And Matt Skelton. Well, yeah, I think you got a little
Yeah.
influence.
Matt saved some of that billboard money.
That's what he did. Yeah.
Buddy.
I still see his smile.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Jamie Grant.
No,
It's,
not at all.
So Jameson Jenkins says the school system social workers, SROs rely on organizations like Neighborhood Bridges to affect change in the lives of students. Very thankful to have you. So
you.
I don't know if that was SRO or Councilman Jenkins. I'm not sure
No,
which
that's
hat he was
probably
wearing.
Councilman Jenkins.
Yeah, it was Councilman Jenkins.
Yeah. He speaks a lot differently when he's a councilman.
That's true.
You can tell that he used AI.
Have you noticed people's posts now?
Yeah.
When I see people's posts, I'm like, this is very different language for this
Right.
person.
Yeah.
They're
That's
definitely
Because they're
using
hitting that
AI.
meta AI now.
Yeah, you won't see that on mine.
Yeah.
So what does
Promise.
that mean?
They're doing it for you. They're
They're doing it for
It just
you.
it
You're
flowers
just
your
swapping.
language
Yeah.
a little bit.
It makes you
So-
look really smart, which
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's a dead giveaway in some of these places.
I feel attacked,
It
Joe.
would be
And that makes
you feel
my writing
attacked.
look
You're not letting
substandard.
AI do yours at all.
No,
because
AI
it'll
will-
filter out what you want to say.
AI will never do mine.
We're looking at some of the. I'm looking at these recently filled needs. I think if you're watching, go and just look at all the needs. There's 6 that they're listing here that's filled, but there's 131 more, probably more than that now, right? That's incredible, the amount and the things that you've done. I mean, anywhere from food or boots or basic needs for a family, graduation attire. People don't even think about that.
Sure. Yeah, I
Because
wouldn't
it costs a lot of money to
It
graduate.
does.
I think you said a minute ago, because we live in a digital world, this allows for us to kind of become the village again, you know, of reaching out and saying, oh, wait, here's a need. You know, I can love on this family or love on this child and take care of them, whether it's so that you can maintain anonymity or whether you just want to get something done to keep from forgetting it later.
Right.
And so at 9 o'clock in the mornings, we get that email, and that email allows for just opportunity. And for me, and Rachel feels the same way. It's our chance to do for someone when we might otherwise never be exposed to that need. And she's the girl behind the lice treatment thing. And it
Yes,
was because she remembered when Etowah had a little breakout a few years ago. She's got her 2 girls had hair down to here, and she's fighting that and dealing with that. And so it just kind of that need touched her.
Sure.
And she was able to go back and affect a change in that kid's life.
Well, we know she's very charitable.
She is and really charitable with my money, which I'm very, very proud of her for that.
Me too.
That's awesome.
No, she's a good person. And I think it allows for you to expose your heart to people that you wouldn't normally get a chance to show them who you are. You know, show yourself who you are. You know, and actually abide by God's word. And that is be a giver and be a cheerful giver. And I think that this is one of those things that's so easy to be a part of.
It really is.
You know, you can't have an excuse for not loving on people if you'll just get involved in like Neighborhood Bridges.
You gotta read the.
I
You
don't
got
want to.
You have to.
He's my boss.
You're
now.
on staff now. You have to read
Well, I have one more story. You want to hear one more story?
we need
Before
one
get
more
into
story.
One more story.
this. We need one.
So we had a single mom who was fleeing domestic violence. And it was it's also a very long story, but I'll keep it short. Found her housing, and so she was in need of a washer and a dryer. She has an older autistic child and then a younger child, and so we were able to deliver.
He isn't mine.
Okay, just want to make sure. I know he likes to be not be known for some of his stuff. So anyway, so Mayor Joe was able to purchase and send over a brand new washer and dryer set for her.
Okay.
And that changed her life. I mean, she's not having to run back and forth to the laundromat and with an autistic child, and
Yeah.
just all of the things that she was dealing with. And so it was kind of a neat timing. Also, we were at the Etowah Chamber annual meeting, and I had no idea that Neighborhood Bridges was going to get an award. And I think during that meeting, you actually texted me and said, "Hey, we just had the washer and dryer delivered." Well, then Neighborhood Bridges was awarded the Etowah Chamber Community Impact Award for
Heck
the
yeah.
year. So it was just kind of cool how God sort of worked all that timing out, and just
Heck yeah. And Joe is, we give Joe a lot of crap. We really
Yes,
do.
you do.
We do, and most of it's well deserved. To be
I would
fair,
say so, yes.
but the heart of this guy is, and there's a reason God's blessed him. He's a giver, and 98% of the time, no one knows it's him. So we love you, Joe.
Thank
we do. We really do.
we appreciate it.
Etowah County and Rainbow City's lucky to have you in
Appreciate
leadership,
that.
because integrity and leadership doesn't go together anymore in a lot of ways. I can name cities,
Yeah.
if we want. We can go down that road. That's a
The last
different
time
show.
you did it, caused about
We'll do that tomorrow.
It did.
caused a lot of disturbance.
That's my fault. That's my fault. Hey, so I have to read this comment by Jameson Jenkins.
Okay.
When Joe looks smart on Facebook, it's because Rachel typed it and sent it to Joe to post. He's as good with words as he is with parking.
Oh
Wow. This guy.
man,
Quote unquote.
There's not one person that believes anything that he just said. Maybe he doesn't even believe it. Yeah.
Mrs. Mayor, Mrs. First Lady. I heard that you were talking about her, so she is.
She's monitoring
She
now.
just clicked
Yeah.
on and she
Yeah.
felt it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, mhm.
I'm sure.
I can see the text she's doing out to Jameson.
Yeah, we like to call her the luckiest woman in Rainbow City, possibly Etowah County.
Oh,
Yeah.
We as in who?
as in
We as in you.
Yeah, the guy that can't make it.
him himself. And I.
Okay, yeah. Oh. Woo.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
Well, this is so good. There are people just chiming in. A lot of folks really excited about this. I call it a ministry. We understand it really is. I mean, you're ministering to people. You're not giving them the gospel, but you're giving it to them in giving form, and letting people know that they're loved and they're cared about. And that's a beautiful thing to me.
Yeah,
Is when
absolutely.
the unloved feel loved for a moment. One story real quick. When you were talking about community. Community used to help each other. I had myocarditis, and my doctor told me, this is years ago, he said, you pray for a miracle, the swelling goes down, or you're going to need a heart transplant. And I did 3 or 4 jobs and couldn't work, and I was here at the church, but I couldn't work. They still paid me, but I couldn't do my other jobs, and we were suffering, we were struggling this many years ago, and I still don't know. He says it's not him, but I still think it was. But we showed up one day at home, and there were groceries, and we didn't tell anybody, because we're kind of a proud people, and we didn't tell anybody. And there was we had 4 children, and there was groceries just sitting there, and I mean groceries, and that to me, for a moment, you matter.
That's right.
Right? When you feel like everything's against you and the world is over with, or you're hurting, and for a moment, you matter, and you matter to at least one person.
Absolutely.
And this right here changes people.
Absolutely.
If they feel one person cares about them, then everything could change in a moment for those
No
people.
doubt.
So,
Well, you want to feel better about yourself? Give.
yeah, man.
You'd be
that's
surprised.
true.
Yeah,
That's
you'd be
right.
surprised
Absolutely.
how it just makes you.
Yeah, what's the
makes
old
you feel-
saying that if you start feeling, bad about yourself, bake someone a cake,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
and it'll change the way you feel about yourself,
That's so
and
good.
you can lift yourself up while you're lifting others.
She does.
So, are you going to admit that it was you?
No.
Well, I mean, you admitted what I do.
Well, that's different. Hey, so Ron McGlaughlin says
right.
you were so.
Yes.
Ron McGlaughlin says that you were so lucky to work with him to get that leadership over the years.
Matter of fact, he just talked about you earlier.
Yeah, see, now we have
that AI?
We have AI comedians. Yeah,
Thank you, Ron.
yeah, so good. to
Great
hear
time.
Ryan this morning.
Great time.
God.
What you just shared, we've had several families in those similar situations where a family member had a major medical issue, whether it was hospitalization or just trips back and forth, to Birmingham. And so we've been able to provide gift cards for gas or groceries. I mean, because you don't think about those expenses and costs, especially for families who are already living week to week or day to day financially, and then you add in, oh, suddenly we've got this hospitalization, we're having to drive to Birmingham every other day, or our child's been diagnosed with this, and so now we have all of these, Birmingham trips and doctor's appointments, which means out of work and, all of those things. So we've had several situations that are, that some of our families have dealt with, that we've been able to provide those gift cards for, groceries or, gas or whatever the needs were. So yeah, we've had those situations too.
Yeah.
So good.
Let's take a sidetrack a little bit if I can, Jeff.
Okay.
I just text you something. So I just got Andrew Ford just sent me a text. They got a fundraiser coming up at St. James Catholic School. Apparently they do this every year. It's a big bingo kind of a deal. How did you win a 65-inch TV? It's rigged.
Do you need one? You could have gave that away.
It's the Catholic Church. Never mind. Go Irish. So let's see. We'll post this info out there. It's the 26th at 5:30. 210 on the tracks is right there on Locust Street. It's a $40 ticket. It covers dinner, dessert, live entertainment, and a bingo card open to ages 10 and up. So it's a great way to raise money for St. James Catholic School. And we'll post that so we can get a bunch of people there. Sorry, nothing to do with you guys.
okay.
But,
No, that was good.
but you guys are all about raising money, and they had you at food, Joe.
Well,
210 on the
they
tracks.
did.
Food.
Yeah, they grabbed me there.
Joe said he wants 2 bingo cards.
That's
And it's a Catholic thing, so could be some other fun.
right.
So
I'll drink to that.
Catholic.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
We had a Catholic church that just made me think. Tammy Anderson of Anderson's Boots.
Yeah.
That's
Very
her
familiar.
home church, and so she actually is the one that donated the new boots for one of our students, who the school had shared that this kid just the insides of his boots were just
Wow.
falling apart, and so she's actually a neighbor of mine. And so when I shared the need with her, she's like,
Yeah.
what does he want? What
Growing
kind of
up in
boots does he want?"
Atala, all my shoes were bought Anderson boots and shoes. Look, you'll appreciate this, Joe. My mother said, I will allot you this amount of money for your school shoes. Mom, that ain't gonna get it. Right, that ain't gonna work. So got the family lawnmower, went down the neighborhoods, and I earned my money. I went to Anderson Shoes and Boots. They let me do layaway as a kid before I even knew what layaway was. And I love the kangaroos, right, with the little zipper on, hide my money in there.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so Anderson's been an awesome place for a lot of
Yeah.
kids over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know she said that St. James does a lot with outreach and
heck
giving
yeah.
back. So
Well, you know how them Catholics are.
Bunch of givers.
That's right.
I mean, don't get you don't get the Bible involved, but give it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you know.
Well, here we go.
So here we go.
Okay, that's Mayor. Anything that you would like to say?
No, I would just like to say that I really would love for people to give this a shot.
Yeah.
Just to go out and find that opportunity to give. And I think continuing to say it over and over again, I think we found this coming out of COVID is that people really do want to love on the people around them. And sometimes we don't know how. This is how. This is your how. This is the way that you can find a way back to your village, to your community through giving. And it's an incredible opportunity. And I think it's something that we should revel in. And we should kind of prove not only to the community but to ourselves, and in that we'll be proving to God that we're obedient. And I think find your way to be obedient.
Let's see how many of these needs we can get done today.
I like it.
Let's jump on there and see how many needs we can get done today. For sure.
Just the folks that are watching right now live. If you all just gave $50 or $35 a piece, you can meet all 3 of these needs right here and pay for it. So hey, how about doing that?
That's right.
That'd be awesome.
if you're interested in just making a general donation, that's also something. Like I said, a lot of times I meet these needs in faith,
Sure.
right? Because they need their power bill paid today.
Yeah.
So we're not continuing to stack up. So, it's always nice to have that money in the bank to be able to do that with.
So you need a little faith in reserve.
I need to pay that reserve. It always works out. It's always worked out.
God's
So,
good like that. Right?
That's right.
No doubt about it. Hey, thank you so much for coming
Thanks
on.
for having me. I appreciate it.
We're glad you're here.
So Mayor Joe Taylor and Jennifer McGriff. Can I give your number out? You've got it
Yeah,
on the website.
absolutely,
It's
yeah.
256-393-0333.
So I got another question. This is strictly to you, Mr. Mayor. Talk to us real quick, the people out there, about the new road program, the road study, the road safety.
Yeah, it's a safer. What we're doing is we're going after a grant that would allow for us to do a road study, and the cooperating cities, which are all of the cities surrounding Etowah County except the city of Gadsden, they're doing their own. We're going in and putting together just a little cohesive unit, and then asking and hiring a engineering company, Sane and Associates, to do a study of our infrastructure road surface.
Okay.
And that study in and of itself will then allow for us to move forward into some 2026 road funding, federal money that we can go after. And so
yeah.
I think this is probably the first time we've seen something like this that's so widespread as far as cooperation between the local governments and the Etowah County Commission. And I just have to say, in the past we talk about how our governments can't seem to get together, we can't seem to cooperate, there's a lot of ego involved.
Sure.
Mr. Nails that's the engineer at Etowah County Commission, or for the Etowah County Commission, he's put this thing together and kind of done the work for us, and then reached out to each of these mayors of these other cities, and we had to latch on to it because he put together such a fine product that we know that's going to change the infrastructure of all of these cities combined and the county as a whole.
Heck yeah.
And so I just want to appreciate him and give him a little shout out, because this is something different, and I think it's kind of starting to usher in the time that we all hoped we would have, which was cooperation in government, and I think we're seeing it now.
Heck yeah. That's all I got, Jeff.
So good. All right. Stay close, stay clean. Rainbow City will get even better, and so will Etowah County.
Clinic 5 Addiction Recovery. Addiction doesn't look like you think.
My name is Brittany. I'm a person just like you are, except for I am a recovering addict. I found hope and I found healing here at Clinic 5 with the help of the amazing staff and doctors. I see my future bright. I actually see a future now.
Clinic 5 Addiction Recovery. Addiction doesn't look like you think. Call
It was worth the wait, and now it's here for you.
It's the all-new, outgoing, gorgeous 2024 Santa Fe at Team One Hyundai. This 3-row SUV has it all. Dual wireless phone charger, auto-open liftgate, fold-down seats, and it's as rugged as ever. Starting under $35,000.
It's here, Team One Hyundai, Highway 77 in Rainbow City.
So my husband and I decided to open Jasmine's Grill and Cantina here in Gadsden. We already have a business. It's Jasmine's Lopez Agency. So here Gadsden was the best place to open a second business. Exchange Bank made this really, really easy. I thought it was going to be a really hard process, but they were so nice, so sweet, and they explained everything by detail. And as you can see, they helped me make all this possible. It was really easy, and they were always there. They were just a phone call away.